I know how to save her. Doctor faints and the janitor saves the choking baby. Jennifer Wilson was cleaning the halls of Mercy General Hospital when she heard the desperate cry of a baby coming from the pediatric emergency room. At 27, she had worked as a janitor for 3 years, but she carried a secret none of her co-workers knew. That's when she saw Dr. Barbara Sullivan stagger and collapse to the floor, dropping little Ethan, just 4 months old, who was choking on secretions. Jennifer dropped her mop and ran to the child. "Oh my God, my baby!" screamed Samantha Roberts, Ethan's mother, a successful businesswoman who had brought her son in for a routine checkup. Jennifer firmly took the baby in her arms and precisely performed the obstruction maneuver she had learned years ago. Her hands trembled, but her movements were steady and calculated. Within seconds, Ethan expelled what was choking him and began breathing normally again. "How did you know how to do that?" asked Samantha, still panicked but observing the young woman's skill. I learned," Jennifer murmured, handing the now calm baby back to his mother. At that moment, other doctors rushed into the room. Dr. Richard Thompson, the hospital director, quickly assessed the situation. Dr. Barbara was being attended to by nurses, and Jennifer stood there, still holding the disposable gloves she had instinctively grabbed. "What happened here?" the director asked, eyeing the scene with a calculating gaze. "This young woman saved my son," Samantha said, rocking Ethan. The doctor fainted, and she knew exactly what to do. Dr. Richard forced a professional smile. "It's good that our employee could assist until the proper medical team arrived. I'm sure Dr. Barbara just had a momentary spell." Jennifer noticed the director's tone and lowered her eyes. She knew that stance well, someone trying to control the narrative. "Doctor, I need to speak with you," Samantha said, still visibly shaken. "In private." Meanwhile, Jennifer gathered her cleaning supplies, trying to slip away unnoticed, but Samantha stopped her in the hallway. "What's your name?" "Jennifer Wilson, ma'am. Jennifer, I need to properly thank you for what you did. My son, if you hadn't been here, I just did what anyone would do," Jennifer replied, uncomfortable with the attention. "No, that's not true. You knew exactly what to do. Where did you learn that?" Jennifer hesitated. Telling the truth would mean exposing a past she had left behind. "I took a basic first aid course, that's all." Samantha studied the young woman's face. There was more to it, she was sure. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now, continuing. 2 hours later in the director's office, Samantha Roberts didn't hide her dissatisfaction. "Dr. Richard, I want to understand how a janitor had more competence to save my son than the doctor in charge." "Mrs. Roberts, I understand your concern, but I ask you not to jump to conclusions. Dr. Barbara is an exemplary professional who has been on duty for 48 hours. A single episode of fatigue doesn't define her competence." "And the janitor? She acted like a doctor." "Our Jennifer is a dedicated employee who fortunately took a basic first aid course. Nothing more than that." Samantha wasn't convinced. "I want to speak with her again. I'm afraid that's not possible. We've already let Jennifer go to rest. It's been a traumatic day for everyone." But Richard lied. Jennifer was in the locker room, being called in for a far from friendly conversation. "Jennifer, you crossed the line today," said the director, closing the door behind him. "I only helped a child who was choking, doctor. You practiced medicine without a license. That's a crime. The real crime is letting a child choke when you can help." Richard stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Listen carefully, young lady. You'll sign a document stating you only assisted Dr. Barbara until she recovered. In return, I'll promote you to nursing assistant. And if I refuse to sign, then you'll be fired for illegal practice, and I'll make sure no hospital in this city hires you again." Jennifer felt the weight of the threat, but something inside her rebelled. "I need time to think." "You have until tomorrow." That night, Jennifer returned to her small apartment in Oakwood, on Chicago's east side. Torn between fear and anger, she called her only confidant, Ms. Martha, her 72-year-old neighbor and mother figure since she'd arrived in the city. "Sweetheart, you did the right thing saving that child," Ms. Martha said, pouring strong coffee at the kitchen table. "Now tell me the truth. What are you hiding?" Jennifer took a deep breath. "Miss Martha, I'm not just a janitor. I was a medical student." The older woman nearly dropped her cup. "What do you mean, dear?" "I studied medicine for 4 years at the university in Rochester. I was in my 5th year when everything fell apart." "What happened?" Jennifer stood and opened a drawer, pulling out a yellowed folder. Inside were documents, certificates, and a photo of her in a white lab coat. "My father, Richard Wilson, worked as a doorman at the teaching hospital where I studied. He discovered some doctors were stealing expensive medications and selling them on the black market. When he reported it, he was fired and harassed. I ended up expelled from the university for alleged academic violations. Ones I could never prove were fabricated." Miss Martha took the photo with trembling hands. "My dear, why didn't you ever tell me?" "Because remembering hurts too much. After we left Rochester, my father was never the same. He got sick, depressed, and passed away last year. I came to Chicago because I couldn't stay there, surrounded by memories." "And why choose to work in a hospital of all places?" "Because even cleaning hallways lets me stay close to medicine. It's the only thing that makes me feel like who I was, who I wanted to be." Miss Martha held the young woman's hands. "Jennifer, you saved a life today. That's no small thing. But the director wants me to lie, to say I only assisted the doctor. And will you do it?" Jennifer looked out the apartment window at the city lights that had welcomed her in her darkest hour. "I don't know, Miss Martha, I don't know." The next day, Samantha Roberts couldn't get Jennifer out of her mind. The way the young woman had acted, the precision of her movements, something didn't match the official story. She decided to hire Amanda Parker, a private investigator specializing in background checks. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Dr. Barbara Sullivan faced her own crisis. At 53, she was respected in pediatrics, but had been under increasing pressure to work beyond her physical limits. "Barbara, you need to be more careful," Dr. Richard said in his office. "What happened yesterday can't happen again." "Richard, I hadn't slept properly in 2 days. You know our overnight resident quit, and we haven't found a replacement. That's no excuse for collapsing during a procedure. A child could have—" Barbara paused, vaguely recalling the events. "Richard, who exactly treated the baby yesterday?" "The emergency team, of course." "No, I remember seeing a woman in a red uniform. She wasn't a doctor or a nurse." Richard brushed it off. "You were confused after feeling unwell. What matters is, everything's resolved now." But Barbara wasn't convinced. During lunch, she sought out the nurses who had been on duty the day before. "Nancy, did you see what happened yesterday in pediatric emergency?" "I did, doctor. It was incredible how Jennifer acted so quickly," replied Nancy Miller, a nurse with 20 years at the hospital. "Jennifer?" "The janitor from the 3rd floor. She saved the baby when you fainted. Never seen anything like it, doctor. That girl knew exactly what she was doing." Barbara felt growing unease. "Where can I find her?" "She usually works the afternoon shift, but she left early yesterday." At that very moment, Jennifer was in HR, staring at the document Richard wanted her to sign. The words seemed to dance on the page. "I declare that I only assisted the medical team during the emergency care under the supervision of Dr. Barbara Sullivan." "Well, Jennifer?" Richard asked, tapping his fingers impatiently on the desk. "Can I take it home and bring it back tomorrow?" "No. It's now or never." Jennifer picked up the pen, but her hands trembled. She thought of her father, of everything they'd lost for refusing to comply with corruption. She thought of little Ethan, of Samantha's desperate eyes. "I won't sign." Richard stood abruptly. "Then you're fired, and I'll make sure every hospital in this city knows you practiced medicine without a license. Do what you want. My conscience is clear." Jennifer left the room with her head held high, but her heart shattered. 3 years of honest work, thrown away for doing the right thing. As she gathered her belongings from the locker, Nancy approached. "Jennifer, what happened? I heard you were fired." "Dr. Richard didn't like that I helped the baby yesterday." "That's outrageous! You saved a life." To him, I overstepped. Nancy glanced around and lowered her voice. Jennifer, can I tell you something? I was watching yesterday. The way you acted, you're not just a janitor, are you? Jennifer hesitated, but something in Nancy's motherly gaze made her trust. I studied medicine, almost graduated. I knew it. 40 years in a hospital teaches you to recognize who knows their stuff. What happened? Long story, but now I need another job. Nancy thought for a moment. My sister works at Dr. Edward Cooper's clinic in Riverside. He's a good, honest doctor. I can talk to her. Thank you, Nancy. You're very kind. 2 days later, Amanda Parker knocked on Jennifer's apartment door. The investigator had uncovered information that completely changed her perspective on the case. Jennifer Wilson, I'm Amanda Parker, a private investigator. I'd like to talk to you about what happened at Mercy General Hospital. Jennifer was wary. Who hired you? Samantha Roberts, the mother of the baby you saved. May I come in? Ms. Martha, watching from her apartment door, signaled for Jennifer to let her in. I've discovered some very interesting things about you, Amanda said, sitting in the small living room. You're Jennifer Wilson, daughter of Richard Wilson, who exposed a corruption scheme at the University Hospital in Rochester 4 years ago. Jennifer paled. How did you? My job is uncovering the truth, and the truth is, you and your father were victims of a great injustice. Did you know the director of the hospital where you worked, Dr. Mark Jenkins, was arrested last year for corruption? No, I didn't. The scheme your father exposed was real. 3 doctors were convicted, including the one who fabricated the accusations against you at university. Your expulsion was illegal. Jennifer felt her legs go weak. Does this mean? It means you can resume your studies and graduate, but there's more. Dr. Richard Thompson, director of Mercy General Hospital, is being investigated for similar irregularities. Richard? He has a history of targeting employees who threaten to expose internal issues. Samantha Roberts wants you to share your side of the story without fear of retaliation. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and especially subscribe to the channel. It helps us a lot as we're just starting out. Now continuing. The next day, Samantha Roberts showed up in person at Jennifer's apartment, carrying Ethan in her arms. The baby was healthy and smiling. Jennifer, I want to thank you personally for saving my son, Samantha said, emotional. I only did what anyone would have done. No, you did what someone with medical knowledge would do. Amanda told me your story. Why didn't you tell me you were a medical student? Jennifer looked at Ethan, who was playing with his tiny fingers. Because it hurts too much to remember what I lost. What if I told you you could get it all back? How? Samantha sat beside Jennifer. I'm a businesswoman. I have connections. I can help you resume your studies and get your expulsion overturned, but I need you to be brave and tell the truth about what happened at the hospital. Samantha, I've already been fired. Dr. Richard said he'd come after me. Leave Richard to me. Do you have any idea how many political favors my company does for this hospital? He won't touch you as long as I'm involved. That same afternoon, Jennifer and Samantha met with Dr. Barbara at a cafe near the hospital. The doctor had insisted on the meeting after learning the truth about the events. Jennifer, I need to apologize, Barbara said, visibly ashamed, not just for fainting and leaving you to handle the emergency, but for not questioning Richard's version. Doctor, it's not your fault. Yes, it is. For years, I've accepted inhumane working conditions at this hospital. 48-hour shifts, constant pressure, lack of proper equipment. I was taking stimulants to stay awake when I fainted. Samantha leaned forward. Is this common at the hospital? More than you'd think. Richard cuts costs by reducing staff and pushing those who remain beyond human limits. Why doesn't anyone report it? Because those who do get fired or targeted, like what happened to Jennifer. Jennifer finally felt comfortable sharing her full story. She spoke about her medical studies, her father's whistleblowing, the persecution they suffered, and how she ended up working as a janitor in the very place that destroyed her family. My God, Barbara whispered. Jennifer, you saved Ethan with 5th grade medical knowledge. Me, with 25 years of experience, fainted from neglecting my own health. Doctor, you were exhausted. It happens. It shouldn't happen, and it won't anymore. Samantha smiled. What do you mean? I mean it's time for some changes at this hospital, and Jennifer will be key to that. A week later, the situation took an unexpected turn. Amanda Parker had uncovered incriminating documents about Richard's administrative practices, including overbilling procedures and contracts funneled to companies where he had hidden ownership stakes. But Richard wasn't idle. Discovering he was under investigation, he set a trap to discredit Jennifer. He planted false evidence suggesting she had stolen medications during her time as a janitor. The accusation reached Samantha through an anonymous phone call. Ms. Roberts, the young woman who supposedly saved your son, is a thief who steals medication. I suggest you reconsider your trust in her. Samantha was shaken. Could Jennifer have deceived her? She decided to confront her directly. Jennifer, I need to ask you a difficult question. Have you ever taken medication from the hospital? Of course not. Why are you asking me that? Because someone called saying you stole medicine. Jennifer felt her world collapse again. Samantha, I swear on my father's memory that I've never taken anything that wasn't mine. The sincerity in Jennifer's eyes convinced Samantha, but it planted a cruel seed of doubt in the young woman's mind. Could Richard be trying to destroy her life again? The answer came 2 days later when Nancy sought Jennifer at home. Sweetheart, I need to tell you something. Richard went through your locker after you were fired. I saw him putting a box of medication there. What? He's setting you up. Yesterday, he found out he lost the box because cleaning was done earlier than planned. He's furious. Jennifer felt a mix of relief and anger. He really wants to ruin me, but he won't succeed. I filmed everything with my phone. I have proof he planted the medication. Armed with this evidence, Samantha decided to go on the offensive. She scheduled a meeting with the hospital's administrative board, including Richard, and attended with Jennifer, Barbara, and Amanda Parker. Gentlemen of the board, Samantha began, I'm here to expose a series of irregularities that have endangered patients' lives in this hospital. Richard tried to maintain his composure. Ms. Roberts, if you have a specific complaint. I have several, starting with the attempt to fabricate evidence against Jennifer Wilson to cover up your own administrative incompetence. Samantha presented Nancy's video, showing Richard planting the medication in Jennifer's locker. The board was shocked. This is a setup, Richard protested. Oh? Amanda stood up. Then perhaps you'd also like to see these documents proving systematic overbilling and contracts directed to companies owned by the director. The room fell completely silent. Richard tried one last move. Even if there are administrative irregularities, it doesn't change the fact that this woman practiced medicine without a license. That's when Barbara stood. Dr. Richard, as a senior physician at this hospital, I can confirm Jennifer Wilson acted in legitimate defense of a child's life, applying knowledge she gained during her formal medical studies, from which she was irregularly deprived. Furthermore, Samantha continued, we've already begun the process to reverse Jennifer's expulsion from university, based on evidence that the accusations against her were fabricated. The board chairman, Dr. Henry Brooks, a 70-year-old man respected in the medical community, spoke. Dr. Richard, given the severity of the accusations and the evidence presented, you are suspended from your duties pending a full investigation. Richard left the room furious but defeated. 3 months later, Jennifer was back in university. The University of Rochester not only readmitted her, but offered a full scholarship to compensate for the harm she'd suffered. Samantha covered all her housing and transportation costs, but Jennifer made a choice that surprised everyone. She decided to intern at Mercy General Hospital, now under new leadership, working directly with Dr. Barbara in pediatrics. Why come back here of all places? Barbara asked on Jennifer's first day. Because this is where I rediscovered who I am, and I want to help turn this place into what it should be. Jennifer discovered she wasn't the only employee Richard had harassed. Nurses, technicians, and even doctors had faced similar pressures. With Samantha and Barbara's support, she created a support group for staff who had suffered workplace bullying. Ms. Martha became a sort of adoptive grandmother to Ethan, whom Samantha regularly brought to visit Jennifer at the hospital. The child had become a symbol of the institution's transformation. "Look how big you've gotten," Jennifer would say every time she saw Ethan, now a happy, healthy baby. "He always smiles when he sees you," Samantha observed. "It's like he knows you saved his life." One day during her shift, a family emergency arrived at the hospital. A 2-year-old had choked on a small toy. This time, Jennifer wore a student's white coat and worked officially alongside Barbara. "Jennifer, do you want to handle this case?" Barbara asked. "Me? You have the experience and I trust you." With steady hands, Jennifer examined the child, ordered the necessary tests, and performed the procedure to remove the object. Everything went perfectly. The child's parents didn't know that student had walked those same halls as a janitor months earlier. To them, she was simply the doctor who saved their son. Dear listener, if you're enjoying the story, please take a moment to like and subscribe to the channel. It helps us newcomers a lot. Now continuing. During her final year of medical school, Jennifer was invited to speak at a national medical conference. The theme was Ethics and Courage in Medicine. She shared her story with an audience of 500 healthcare professionals. "I learned that being a doctor isn't just about technical knowledge," Jennifer said at the podium. "It's about having the courage to do what's right, even when it costs you everything." In the audience, Samantha wept with emotion. Beside her, Ethan, now a 2-year-old, played with a toy stethoscope. After the talk, a silver-haired gentleman approached Jennifer. "My name is Dr. Joseph Miller. I'm the director of a hospital in Newport. I'd like to discuss your plans after graduation." "I already have plans, doctor. I'll be working at the new community clinic we're opening." "Community clinic?" "Yes. Dr. Barbara, Samantha and I are starting a clinic that provides hospital-quality care to low-income patients. It'll be in the neighborhood where I grew up." "Doctor," Joseph smiled. "May I learn more about this project?" The Renewed Hope Clinic opened 6 months after Jennifer's graduation. Located in Oakwood, it offered free pediatric, general, and basic emergency care. On opening day, a crowd gathered. Ms. Martha, now a volunteer at reception, was bursting with pride. "Sweetheart, your father would be so proud," she said, adjusting Jennifer's new white coat. "I know, Miss Martha. I feel him here with me." Barbara had left Mercy General Hospital to become the clinic's medical supervisor. "Jennifer, do you realize the impact this clinic will have on the community? I hope it's the same impact you all had on my life." Samantha, the project's main sponsor, made sure Ethan cut the ribbon. "Ethan, you'll cut Aunt Jennifer's clinic ribbon," she told the boy, who now spoke in short phrases. "Aunt Jen," Ethan shouted, reaching for her. "This boy adores you," Samantha laughed. The feeling's mutual. In its first months, the clinic served hundreds of patients. Jennifer had rediscovered the purpose she'd lost years before. Every child she treated, every family she helped, renewed her faith in medicine and in life. One day, she received an unexpected visit. Nancy appeared at the clinic, accompanied by a young woman in her 20s. "Jennifer, this is my niece, Julia. She wants to study medicine and was inspired by your story." "Dr. Wilson," Julia said shyly, "my aunt told me how you never gave up. I come from a poor family and always thought medicine was only for the rich." Jennifer remembered herself years ago, full of dreams and fears. "Julia, if you have the determination, I'll help you get a scholarship. Medicine needs people like you." 2 years after the clinic opened, Jennifer received an invitation that left her speechless. The university in Rochester wanted to honor her as a distinguished alumna, recognizing her contributions to community medicine. "Are you going to accept?" Barbara asked. "I don't know if I'm ready to go back there." "Jennifer, you've already proven everything you needed to prove. It's time to close that chapter." On the day of the ceremony, Jennifer returned to the campus where she had once dreamed of graduating. This time she walked the halls as a fully recognized and respected doctor. The university's dean, Dr. Marcus Reynolds, made a point of accompanying her personally. "Dr. Wilson, the university would like to formally apologize for the injustice you suffered. Your case made us reevaluate our disciplinary protocols." "Dean, I've already forgiven. I'd rather focus on the future." "That's exactly why we'd like to propose something. Would you consider creating an extension program here based on your clinic's model?" Jennifer was stunned. Are you serious? Absolutely. You could serve as coordinator, keeping your clinic in Chicago while helping train a new generation of doctors committed to social medicine. The proposal opened a new chapter in Jennifer's life. She split her time between the Oakwood Clinic and the university program, mentoring dozens of students with a more humanistic approach to medicine. Ethan, now 5 years old, became the clinic's unofficial mascot. Whenever Samantha brought him in for checkups, he insisted on helping Jennifer by examining his toys with a real stethoscope. "Aunt Carol, when I grow up, I'm going to be a doctor, just like you," he said one day, with the seriousness only children can muster. "And I'll be right here to teach you," Jennifer replied, touched. Samantha watched the scene with a full heart. Her company had become a benchmark for social responsibility, largely because of Jennifer's example. She had changed too, dedicating more time to family and social causes. "Jennifer, sometimes I wonder what would have happened if you hadn't been at the hospital that day," Samantha said as Ethan played in the office. "I think about that too. But I believe everything happens for a reason. I lost my father. I lost years of medical school, but I gained a family and a greater purpose. Your family. You, Ethan, Ms. Martha, Barbara, Nancy. You're my chosen family." 5 years after the clinic's opening, Jennifer received a call that would change everything again. The Department of Health wanted to replicate the renewed Hope Clinic model in underserved communities across the country. "Dr. Wilson, the project you developed is being considered a national benchmark for community medicine," the program coordinator said during a video conference. "That's wonderful, but our clinic is the result of a lot of teamwork. That's why we want your entire team to oversee the expansion. Would that be possible?" Jennifer gathered Barbara, Samantha, and Miss Martha to discuss the proposal. The decision wasn't easy. "It means we'll have to travel a lot," Barbara considered. "And leave our clinic here?" Ms. Martha asked, concerned. "Not necessarily," replied Jennifer. "We can train people to continue our work here and take the experience to other places." Samantha, ever practical, was already doing the math. "My company can cover the logistics of the expansion. It's an investment that makes sense." "Aunt Jen, are you going to travel?" asked Ethan, now 6 years old and understanding more of the adults' conversations. "Maybe, sweetheart, but I'll always come back home." "Promise?" "I promise." The national program launched a year later. Jennifer became a national consultant in community medicine, traveling across the country to implement similar clinics. Every new unit opened was a victory against the system that had nearly destroyed her. During one of these trips, to a small town in Louisiana, Jennifer made a discovery that moved her deeply. On the local team was a 60-year-old nurse named Rose who had gone through a similar ordeal. "Dr. Wilson, I was a nursing technician 30 years ago when I reported irregularities at the hospital where I worked. I was fired and blacklisted. I only managed to rebuild my life at 50 when I finally got to study nursing. And now? Now I'm helping build this clinic. Your story inspired me not to give up." Encounters like this repeated in every town Jennifer visited. Her story had become a symbol of resilience and renewal for healthcare workers across the country. 2 years later, Ethan turned 8 and made a special request for his birthday party. "Mum, can I have my party at Aunt Jen's clinic?" "At the clinic? Why?" "Because that's where my life really began. Aunt Jen told me she saved me when I was a baby." Samantha was touched by her son's maturity. "So of course, sweetheart." Ethan's party turned into a celebration of the clinic. Former patients, staff, volunteers, and partners gathered in the courtyard. Jennifer prepared a special surprise, a video showing all the lives touched by the clinic's work. "Aunt Jen," Ethan said when they were alone in her office, "Mum told me you saved my life when I was a baby, and that's why you almost lost your job. It's true. Why did you save me if you knew it would cause trouble?" Jennifer knelt to his eye level. "Ethan, when someone needs help, especially a child, you can't think about the consequences. You do what's right because your heart tells you to. And you never regretted it. Never. Saving you was the start of all the good things that happened to me afterward." Ethan hugged her tightly. "Thank you, Aunt Jen." "Thank you for what?" for teaching me that doing the right thing is worth it, even when it's hard. In that moment, Jennifer understood her journey had come full circle. From janitor to doctor, from victim to symbol of hope, she had found her place in the world. 3 years later, Jennifer was invited as the keynote speaker at the nation's largest medical conference. Her talk was titled, "The Transformative Power of Humanized Medicine." "Ladies and gentlemen," she said at the podium, facing an audience of 2,000 professionals. 10 years ago, I was a janitor cleaning hospital hallways. Today, I oversee a national community medicine program. What changed wasn't just my position, but my understanding of what it means to be a doctor. In the crowd, Samantha held Ethan's hand, now an 11-year-old preteen who'd already declared he wanted to become a doctor. Barbara, Ms. Martha, and dozens of others whose lives Jennifer had touched were there. "Medicine isn't just about diagnoses and treatments," Jennifer continued. "It's about seeing the humanity in every person who comes to us. It's about having the courage to do what's right, even when the system pressures us to do otherwise." After the lecture, a young student approached Jennifer. "Doctor, my name is Grace. I'm the daughter of a janitor, and I always thought medicine was out of reach for me. Your story gave me hope. Grace, if you have the determination, I'll help you. Our clinic network offers scholarships for low-income students." "Really? Of course. After all, medicine needs people who understand what it means to fight for an opportunity." 6 months later, Grace was among those accepted into medical school with a full scholarship sponsored by the Clinic Network's social program. On the day of her acceptance, Jennifer received a special call. "Dr. Jennifer, this is Dean Marcus Reynolds from the University of Rochester. We have a proposal for you." "What kind of proposal?" "We'd like you to take over as the general coordinator of the medical program. We want to restructure the curriculum based on your experience in compassionate medicine." Jennifer was speechless. The same university that had expelled her was now inviting her to lead the training of new doctors. "Dean, it's an honor, but I have commitments to the community clinics." "That's exactly why. You could create a hybrid model where students spend part of their training in community clinics. It would be revolutionary." The offer was tempting, but Jennifer knew any decision would affect her entire team. She decided to consult the most important people in her life. "What do you all think?" she asked during a dinner at her home with Samantha, Ethan, Barbara, and Ms. Martha. "Aunt Jen, it would be amazing. You could teach doctors to be like you," said Ethan, always straight to the point. "Sweetheart, I think it's the chance to come full circle," Ms. Martha offered. "You could transform the country's medicine by shaping a new generation," Barbara agreed. "Jennifer, no one is better suited to lead this change than you, and I can take on more responsibilities at the community clinics." Samantha smiled. "And my company can be the official partner of the university program. It's a win-win." 2 months later, Jennifer was back in the halls of the University of Rochester, this time as the coordinator of the medical program. Her first move was to create the Medicine and Community program, where all students spent at least 1 semester working in community clinics. "Students," she said during the inaugural lecture of the new program, "you'll learn medicine not just from books and labs, but in real life with real people who need real help." Among the first class of students was Julia, Nancy's niece. Now in her 3rd year of medical school, she had become one of the top students in her class and an intern at the community clinics. "Professor Jennifer, I want to thank you for believing in me when I was just a poor girl with big dreams. Julia, I only saw in you what you already had. Medicine needs people like you, who understand the reality of those who need care the most." The program revolutionized the university. Within 3 years, Rochester's graduates became national leaders in compassionate medicine. Hospitals across the country competed to hire them. Ethan, now 15, had become a regular volunteer at the community clinics. During school breaks, he helped at the front desk and organized activities for children waiting for appointments. "Aunt Jen, I've decided on my specialty," he said one day while helping organize medical records. "Oh, and what's that?" "Pediatrics. I want to care for kids like you cared for me." Jennifer felt her eyes well up. "Ethan, it would be an honor to have you as a colleague. Will you teach me?" I'll teach you everything I know. And so much more that we'll learn together. That same year, Jennifer received news that filled her with pride. The National Community Clinics program had been recognized by the World Health Organization as a model of social medicine for developing countries. At the awards ceremony in Chicago, Jennifer was honored as a pioneer in humanized medicine, but she insisted on sharing the stage with her entire team. "This award isn't mine," she said into the microphone. "It belongs to everyone who believed medicine could be a transformative force in people's lives. It belongs to Ms. Martha, who at 75 still greets patients with a smile. It belongs to Dr. Barbara, who changed her life to follow a dream. It belongs to Samantha, who proved business leaders can be agents of social change. And it's especially dedicated to the memory of my father, Richard Wilson, who taught me that doing what's right is worth any sacrifice." The audience rose in a standing ovation that lasted 5 minutes. Among those present were hundreds of healthcare professionals inspired by Jennifer's story. 5 years later, Ethan graduated from medical school as the top of his class. Jennifer was in the audience, alongside Samantha, Barbara, and Ms. Martha, now 80 but still volunteering. "Mum," Ethan said after the ceremony, "I want to do my pediatric residency at the Oakwood Clinic." "The community clinic? But Ethan, you could train at the best hospitals in the country." "I know, but I want to learn medicine where it really happens, with Aunt Carol." Samantha glanced at Jennifer, who was moved. "You've created a monster," she teased. "Now I have a son who'd rather work for free at a community clinic than earn well at a private hospital." "It's the best education a young doctor could have," Jennifer replied, "and Ethan will be an extraordinary pediatrician." Ethan's residency at the Oakwood Clinic became a benchmark. Under Jennifer's guidance, he developed innovative protocols for community pediatric care that were adopted nationwide. 2 years later, Ms. Martha, now 82, called Jennifer for a serious talk. "Dear, I need to tell you something important." "What is it, Ms. Martha?" "I think it's time for me to rest. These last years at the clinic have been the best of my life, but my body is asking for peace." Jennifer held the hands of the woman who had been her adoptive mother. "Ms. Martha, you can rest knowing you've helped change thousands of lives. And you, dear? When will you rest?" "Not yet. There's still so much to do. Promise me you won't forget to live your own life while helping so many others." "I promise." At Ms. Martha's farewell party, the clinic was filled with people touched by her kindness. Former patients, staff, students, and volunteers gathered to honor her. "Ms. Martha," Jennifer said in her speech, "you taught me that family isn't just blood. It's choice, it's care, it's being there in hard times. You're the mother I chose and who chose me back." Ms. Martha, emotional, replied, "Jennifer, when you came into my life, you were a wounded girl without hope. Today, you're a woman who heals wounds and plants hope wherever you go. Your father would be so proud." 3 years later, Jennifer, now 42, made a personal discovery that changed her perspective on life. During a routine checkup, she learned she was pregnant. The news took her completely by surprise. She'd been so dedicated to her career and social work that she'd never prioritized relationships. The father was Brian Miller, an infectious disease specialist who had become her partner, both professionally and personally. "Jennifer, this changes everything," said Brian when she shared the news. "How so?" "Well, now you'll be a real mother, not just an adoptive mom to half the world." Jennifer laughed. "I think I've had enough practice." Jennifer's pregnancy became a cause for celebration across the entire network of community clinics. Longtime patients made sure to offer advice, staff organized a collective baby shower, and Ethan, now a respected pediatrician, joked that he'd finally have a little cousin to care for. "Aunt Carol, can I be your baby's pediatrician?" he asked seriously. "Of course, Dr. Ethan. I wouldn't trust anyone else." During her pregnancy, Jennifer kept working but began rethinking her priorities. At 8 months, she decided to cut back on travel and focus more on coordinating the university program and overseeing local clinics. "Maybe it's time I train a new generation of leaders to take over the national project," she told Barbara during a walk in the park. "Are you thinking of retiring?" "Not exactly, but I want to be more present in my child's life. And I think the movement already has a life of its own. Jennifer, you've built something much bigger than yourself, The program will keep growing with or without you. That's exactly why I can afford to be a little more of a mother and a little less of the world's savior. Hannah Jennifer was born on a September morning weighing 7 pounds. The delivery took place in the maternity ward of Mercy General Hospital, which had completely transformed since Richard Thompson's time. In the room, Jennifer held her daughter in her arms, surrounded by her chosen family. Samantha was there with Ethan, now Dr. Ethan. Barbara had dropped everything to be present. And even Ms. Martha, despite being 85, insisted on meeting her grandbaby. "She's beautiful, dear," Ms. Martha said, moved. "Just like you when you were young." "Ms. Martha, you didn't even know me when I was young." "Oh, but I did. In your eyes. I always saw the girl you were before all the pain." Brian, Hannah's father, watched the scene with emotion. "Jennifer, our daughter was born in the same wing where you saved Ethan 15 years ago." "It's the circle of life completing itself," said Ethan, now a 27-year-old man. "Hannah will grow up hearing stories about her heroic mother." "No heroics," Jennifer countered. "I want her to grow up knowing anyone can make a difference, no matter their place in life." In her first months of motherhood, Jennifer discovered a new dimension of love and responsibility. Caring for Hannah reminded her why she'd chosen medicine, the deep desire to care, protect, and heal. "Brian, Hannah taught me something important," she said one night while nursing her daughter. "What's that?" "That sometimes the greatest revolution we can make is simply loving someone completely. You've always known that. It's how you changed so many lives. But now I understand it differently, more viscerally, more maternally." When Hannah turned 6 months old, Jennifer decided to launch a new project, a support program for working mothers in healthcare. The initiative included an on-site daycare, extended maternity leave, and psychological support for women balancing career and motherhood. "Jennifer, you never stop, do you?" Samantha teased during the daycare's opening. "Now that I'm a mother, I understand even better the struggles of the women who work here. This daycare will let them focus on their jobs, knowing their children are safe and well cared for." The program became a national model. Hospitals and clinics across the country began implementing similar maternity support policies. 2 years later, Hannah had become the official mascot of the community clinics. At 2 years old, she roamed the hallways as if she owned the place, greeting patients and staff with her contagious joy. "Mommy, doctor," she would say whenever she saw Jennifer in her white coat. "That's right, sweetheart. Mommy is a doctor." One day, Hannah was in the office when an emergency arrived. A 3-year-old child had suffered a serious fall. As Jennifer tended to the boy, Hannah watched everything carefully. "Mommy, boy Owie?" she asked after the patient was transferred to the hospital. "He was, but now he's going to be okay." "Hannah, help." Jennifer knelt down to her daughter's level. "Hannah always helps. Know how?" "How?" "By being kind, smiling at sad people, and when you grow up studying hard so you can help even more." "Hannah be doctor like mommy?" "You can be whatever you want, sweetheart. Doctor, teacher, engineer. What matters is always helping people." In that moment, Jennifer realized her greatest legacy wasn't the clinics, the university program, or the awards. It was Hannah, the next generation who would grow up with values of compassion and service to others. 5 years later, when Hannah turned 7, the family received a very special visit. Ethan came home with news that moved everyone. "Aunt Carol, I have something to tell you." "What is it?" "I just got accepted for a specialization in community medicine with the World Health Organization. I'll spend 2 years working on projects like ours in Africa." Jennifer felt both proud and worried. "Ethan, it's an incredible opportunity, but I know I'll miss the family. But I'm taking everything I learned here with me. And when I come back, I want to implement new protocols I'll learn there." "Are you sure?" "Absolutely. Aunt Carol, you taught me that when we have knowledge and the chance to help, we can't shy away from responsibility." Hannah, who was playing on the floor, got up and hugged Ethan. "Uncle Ethan go far?" "Yes, little one, but I'll always come home." "Promise?" "Promise." Ethan's farewell was emotional. At the airport, the whole family was there, including Ms. Martha, who at 90 still had her sharp mind and good humor. "Ethan, my boy," she said, holding the young doctor's face with trembling hands. "You're going to make so many people happy out there. But don't forget to come home." "I'll never forget, Grandma Martha. You taught me family is our anchor." During the 2 years Ethan was away, the family stayed in constant contact through video calls. Hannah grew up hearing stories about Uncle Ethan who takes care of kids in Africa. In that time, Jennifer made an important decision. She handed over the national program's leadership to a team of young doctors she had trained. At 47, she chose to focus on the university and being more present in Hannah's life. "Jennifer, are you sure about this?" asked Barbara, now the medical director of the entire clinic network. "I am. It's time for the new generation to take over. I laid the foundation. Now they can build the house." "And what will you do with all that free time?" "Free time?" Jennifer laughed. "I'll write a book about our experience, keep coordinating the university course, and most of all, I'll teach my daughter how to ride a bike." The book. From Hallway to Office, A Journey of Transformation in Medicine, became a bestseller and required reading in medical schools across the country. Jennifer donated all royalties to the community clinic's scholarship fund. When Ethan returned from Africa, he brought back experiences that further revolutionized the clinic's work. Hannah, now 9, had started a pen pal friendship with African children he'd met. "Aunt Jen, I want to show you something amazing I learned there," said Ethan on his first day back. "What?" "Traditional medicine techniques that, combined with modern medicine, have surprising results. We could implement them here." "Ethan, you've come back wiser." "I've come back more grateful for everything we have here, for everything you've taught me." 2 years later, the family faced a difficult moment. Ms. Martha, now 92, began showing signs of dementia. Jennifer decided to care for her personally, with the support of the whole family. "Sweetheart, you don't have to do this," said Barbara. "We can hire professional caregivers." "Barbara, Ms. Martha took care of me when I needed it most. Now it's my turn to return the favor." Jennifer adapted her home for Ms. Martha. Hannah, now 11, helped care for Grandma Martha with impressive maturity. "Mum, why doesn't Grandma Martha recognize me sometimes?" Hannah asked one day. "Because her mind is tired, my love, but her heart is still full of love for us." "Will she get better?" Jennifer needed courage to answer honestly. "Grandma Martha's body is very tired, Hannah, but our job is to make sure she feels loved until the end." Ms. Martha spent her last 2 years surrounded by love and care. In her moments of clarity, she still gave advice and told stories to Hannah. When she passed at 94, it was peacefully at home, surrounded by her chosen family. Ms. Martha's funeral was a celebration of her life. Hundreds of people she had touched over the years were present. Jennifer gave the eulogy. "Ms. Martha taught me that love isn't just a feeling, it's action. It's showing up, it's caring, it's choosing someone every day. She chose to be my mother when I needed one most. Now it's up to us to keep choosing each other, every day." Hannah, now 13, placed a flower on the casket. "Goodbye, Grandma Martha. Thank you for teaching me that family is who we choose to love." After Miss Martha's passing, the family grew even closer. Hannah had inherited her adoptive grandmother's gift for caring for others with special tenderness. By 15, she had already decided to pursue a medical career. She spent afternoons at the Oakwood Clinic, helping at reception and observing Jennifer's consultations. "Mom, I want to understand something," she said one day after watching Jennifer treat a family in a vulnerable situation. "What, my love?" "Why don't you ever charge for visits here at the clinic?" "Because medicine shouldn't be a privilege for those who can pay, Hannah. Healthcare is a basic right. But how do you support yourselves? Through partnerships, donations, and most of all, the belief that doing good attracts more good." Is that why so many people support the project? Yes, people want to be part of something bigger than themselves. We just give them the opportunity. Hannah absorbed every lesson. At 16, she started her own project, free tutoring for children in the community, held at the clinic. "Hannah, are you sure you want to take this on?" asked Brian, worried about his daughter overextending herself. "Dad, Mom always says privilege without social responsibility is wasted. I have the privilege of a good education, so I need to share it. Jennifer watched her daughter with pride and a twinge of concern. Hannah was growing up too fast, taking on adult responsibilities. "Hannah, you also need to be a kid. Go out with friends. Have fun." "Mom, I have fun helping people. It's different from my classmates, but it's how I'm happy." When Hannah turned 18, she was accepted into the medical program at the same university where Jennifer had studied and now taught. The high school graduation ceremony was held at the community clinic by her choice. "Hannah, why do you want to graduate here?" asked Samantha, who at 60 still kept close ties with the family. "Because this is where I learned what truly matters in life. This clinic means more to my education than any school ever could." In her graduation speech, Hannah moved everyone to tears. "I grew up watching my mother turn pain into healing, abandonment into family, injustice into opportunity. I learned that no matter our profession, it should be a way to serve others. Today I begin a new journey knowing that medicine is far more than science. It's the art of healing hearts." Jennifer wept in the audience. Seeing her daughter start down the same path she had walked, but without the obstacles she'd faced, was both fulfilling and terrifying. Ethan, now the regional medical director of the community clinics program, was chosen as Hannah's graduation godfather. "Hannah, your mother saved me when I was a baby. You'll save many people too, but in a different way. You'll prevent others from going through the hardships your mother faced." "How, Uncle Ethan?" "By building a fairer healthcare system from the ground up. Your generation has that opportunity." 2 months before Hannah started college, the family received news that changed everyone's perspective. Barbara, at 68, was diagnosed with breast cancer. "Jennifer, I need to ask you a favor," she said after receiving the diagnosis. "Anything, Barbara. If anything happens to me, I want you to take care of the clinics. Don't let them become purely commercial. Nothing will happen to you. We'll fight this together." "I know, but I want to make sure our legacy is safe." Barbara's treatment mobilized the entire support network they had built over the years. Doctors from across the country offered their services for free. The Oakwood Clinic became an emotional support center for Barbara and her family. Hannah delayed starting college for a semester to help care for Barbara. "Mom, medicine can wait. Aunt Barbara needs us now." "Hannah, your aunt wouldn't want you to postpone your studies because of her." "Then we won't tell her." Hannah smiled, showing the same determination she'd inherited from her mother. During treatment, Barbara grew even closer to Hannah. "Sweetheart, you remind me so much of your mother at your age. The same determination, the same compassion. Aunt Barbara, you're going to be okay, right? I'll fight with everything I have, my love, but if anything happens, I want you to remember one thing. Your mother is the bravest person I know, and you've inherited that courage." After 6 months of intensive treatment, Barbara beat cancer. The news of her remission was celebrated across all the clinics in the network. "Barbara, you have no idea how scared we were," Jennifer said, hugging her friend. "Oh, I do, but look, I survived to see Hannah start college and carry on our mission." "Our mission? To make medicine more humane. Each new generation takes that responsibility one step further." When Hannah finally began medical school at 19, she already had a clear vision of her professional path. Her first-year capstone project was on community medicine as a tool for social transformation. "Professor Jennifer," she said formally during her presentation, "based on the experience of the community clinic network started 20 years ago, this project proposes expanding the model to remote rural areas." Jennifer tried to maintain her professional composure, but couldn't hide her pride. "Student Hannah, your proposal is thorough and feasible, approved with distinction." After class, mother and daughter walked together through the university halls. "Hannah, I'm proud of you, but I also worry." "Why?" "You're following in my footsteps too closely. I want you to find your own path in medicine." "Mom, I'm not following in your footsteps. I'm building on the foundation you created. It's different." "How so?" "You had to fight the system to change it. I grew up within the transformed system. I can go further." Jennifer smiled, realizing Hannah was right. The new generation truly had possibilities she never had. Over the following years, Hannah excelled in college, but always kept her feet on the ground. She spent weekends at the Oakwood Clinic, now run by a team of young doctors trained in the community medicine program. In her 4th year, Hannah developed an app connecting community clinics across the country, allowing real-time sharing of experiences and protocols. "Hannah, this is revolutionary," said Ethan, now the national coordinator of the program. "With this tool, we can standardize and improve care in every unit." That was the idea, Uncle Ethan, using technology to democratize medical knowledge. The app became a national and international benchmark. At just 22 and still a student, Hannah was invited to speak at medical conferences. "My daughter is leaving me behind," Jennifer joked with Brian. "No, she's not. She's taking you along into the future." In her final year, Hannah made a decision that surprised the family. She chose to specialize in family and community medicine, but with a focus on technological innovation. "Hannah, why not pediatrics like Ethan?" asked Samantha. "Because I want to work on prevention and health promotion, treat entire families, not just sick children." "And the technology? It's a tool. The foundation is still the human care I learned here." When Hannah graduated at 23, the ceremony was held in the Oakwood Clinic auditorium, following the tradition she had established. Jennifer was chosen to present her daughter's diploma. "Dr. Hannah Jennifer Wilson Miller," Jennifer said formally. "It is with immense pride that I present this diploma, recognizing your medical training and your commitment to social transformation through healthcare." "Thank you, Professor," Hannah replied, moved. In her graduation speech, Hannah honored everyone who had influenced her journey. "Ms. Martha taught me that family is a choice. Ethan showed me that caring is a calling. Aunt Samantha proved that success without purpose is empty. Aunt Barbara demonstrated it's never too late to start over. And my mother taught me that one person can change the world if they're willing to change themselves first." After graduation, Hannah opened her own community clinic with a unique feature: full technological integration, offering telemedicine to remote rural communities, and shared electronic records. "Hannah, are you trying to compete with me?" Jennifer teased. "I want to compliment your work. Your generation built the foundation. Mine will take it where you couldn't reach." Hannah's clinic became a model for innovation in community medicine. Within 2 years, it served rural communities in 5 states via telemedicine. Ethan, now a father of 2 young children, became an official partner in Hannah's project. "Hannah, with your technology and our experience, we can revolutionize rural medicine in this country." "That's exactly what I want to do, Uncle Ethan." 5 years after Hannah's graduation, the family faced a new transition. At 55, Jennifer decided to retire from university coordination to dedicate herself fully to mentoring young doctors. "Jennifer, are you sure?" asked Barbara, now 73 and still active as a consultant. "I do. I want to make the most of the years I have left, travel with Brian, meet grandchildren I hope to have one day, and most of all, learn from the new generation." "Grandchildren? Is Hannah dating?" "She is. A tropical medicine specialist she met during a project in the Amazon basin. And you approve?" "Absolutely. Ryan is a principled young man, committed to social causes. They make a great pair." 6 months later, Hannah announced her engagement to Ryan. The wedding was held at the Oakwood Clinic, following the family tradition of celebrating important moments in the place that had changed their lives. "Hannah, are you sure you want to get married at the clinic?" asked Ryan, concerned about the simplicity of the venue. "Ryan, this clinic means more to me than any church or banquet hall. It's where I learned what true love is, caring for others." The wedding turned into a grand community celebration. Former patients, staff, volunteers, and the entire network of clinics joined the festivities. Jennifer, moved with emotion, walked her daughter down the aisle to the makeshift altar in the clinic's courtyard. "Hannah, I'm giving you to a good man, but I want you to know you'll always be my little girl." "Always, Mom. And our children will grow up knowing the story of the grandma who saved a baby and changed the world." "No heroic grandma talk," Jennifer protested. "I just want to be Grandma Jennifer, the one who tells stories and bakes cookies." 2 years after the wedding, Hannah gave Jennifer her first grandchild. Peter Ethan Wilson Miller. The name honored the man who had been like a younger brother to Jennifer and a mentor to Hannah. "Aunt Jen, I'm so emotional," said Ethan, holding the baby who bore his name. "Now I understand how you felt when you saved me." "It's a cycle, Ethan. Peter will grow up hearing our stories and maybe carry on our mission. Or maybe create his own," Hannah added. "Every generation has to find its own way to serve." On Peter's first birthday, the family gathered at the Oakwood Clinic for a special celebration. Jennifer had prepared a surprise, a photo book telling the family's entire story, from the day she saved Ethan to Peter's birth. "This book is for Peter," she said, her voice trembling. "So when he grows up, he'll know where he came from and understand that each of us has the power to make a difference in others' lives." Hannah flipped through the book with tears in her eyes. "Mom, this is beautiful. But the story doesn't end here." "What do you mean?" "Peter will write new chapters, and who knows, maybe he'll have siblings to help write them." "Hannah, are you—" "I'm pregnant again," she announced, beaming. The news brought overwhelming joy. Jennifer would be a grandma again, Ethan would be godfather to another child, and the family would keep growing. 8 months later, Sophia Martha Wilson Miller was born, honoring the woman who had been the family's emotional matriarch. The delivery went smoothly, and Jennifer was in the waiting room with the whole family when Ryan came out with the news. "It's a girl, and she's perfect." "What will you name her?" asked Barbara. "Sophia Martha. So Ms. Martha will always be part of our family." Jennifer was moved. "Ms. Martha would be so happy to know she's remembered this way." In the years that followed, Jennifer devoted herself fully to being a grandmother. Peter and Sophia grew up at the Oakwood Clinic, playing in the hallways she had once cleaned as a janitor. "Grandma, tell me the story again about how you saved Uncle Ethan," Peter would ask at 5 years old. "Oh, sweetheart, you know that story by heart. But I love hearing it, and I want to tell it to Sophia when she's older." Sophia, at 3, already showed signs of the family's determined spirit. "Grandma, am I going to save babies too when I grow up?" "You can save anyone, my love. Babies, children, adults. What matters is taking good care of those in need." At 60, Jennifer Wilson received an honor that moved her deeply. The university in Rochester inaugurated the Jennifer Wilson Institute of Community Medicine, dedicated to research and training in social medicine. "Jennifer, this institute will preserve your legacy forever," the dean said during the ceremony. "My legacy isn't in institutions," she replied. "It's in the people we train, the lives we save, the families we help." In the audience were Hannah and Ryan, now parents of 3 children. The youngest, Richard, had been born 2 years earlier, named after the grandfather Jennifer had never forgotten. Ethan was there with his family. Barbara, now 80, still had her sharp mind and humor. Samantha, 75, continued supporting social projects. "Mom," Hannah whispered during Jennifer's speech, "look at how many lives you've touched." "It wasn't just me, my love. It was all of us together." 3 years later, when Jennifer turned 63, she made a decision that surprised the family. She decided to return to seeing patients regularly, but only children at the Oakwood Clinic. "Jennifer, why this decision?" Brian asked. "Because I miss the direct contact with patients. Managing, teaching, guiding, all of that is important, but I want to return to what made me a doctor in the first place, caring. What if it's too exhausting? Then I'll stop, but I want to try." Jennifer put on her white coat daily again, now as a senior physician at the clinic. Her grandchildren sometimes accompanied her, watching how she treated each child with special care. "Grandma, why do you talk so much with the mums?" asked Peter, now 8. "Because sometimes the mother is sicker than the child, my love. Fear, worry, exhaustion, those need care too." Peter absorbed every lesson. By 8, he'd already decided he wanted to be a doctor like his grandmother, mother, and Uncle Ethan. Sophia, 6, had other plans. "Grandma, I'm going to be a nurse. Someone has to take care of the doctors too." Jennifer laughed, remembering Nancy and all the nurses who had been essential in her journey. Richard, 4, was still discovering the world, but already showed fascination with the clinic's medical equipment. "Aunt Jen," Ethan said one day, watching Jennifer interact with her grandchildren, "have you realized you're raising the 4th generation of healthcare professionals in this family? I hope they choose it out of calling, not family tradition. Knowing you, I'm sure it'll be out of calling." When Peter turned 10, he made a special request to Jennifer. He wanted to visit Mercy General Hospital, where it had all begun. "Grandma, I want to see where you worked as a janitor." "Why, my love?" "Because I want to understand how a person can change their life so much, and how you turned a bad place into something good." Jennifer was moved by her grandson's maturity. "All right, Peter, let's visit your roots." The trip to Mercy General was emotional. The institution had completely transformed since Richard Thompson's time. It now had clear policies supporting staff, programs for compassionate care, and partnerships with community clinics. "Dr. Jennifer," a veteran nurse exclaimed upon seeing her in the hallways, "what an honor to have you here." "Thank you, Marlene. This is my grandson, Peter." "Peter, your grandmother is a legend in this hospital. She changed how we care for patients." Peter observed everything with curious eyes. "Grandma, this place feels different from our clinic." "It is different, my love, but the goal is the same, to take good care of people." That night, Peter shared a reflection that touched Jennifer deeply. "Grandma, I understood something today." "What was it?" "You didn't go from janitor to doctor. You've always been a caregiver, the title just changed." Jennifer hugged her grandson, moved by his early wisdom. "Peter, you've understood something many adults never grasp." "What?" "That our profession is just a tool to express who we are inside." At 65, Jennifer received an offer that made her rethink her entire journey. The Department of Health invited her to coordinate an international community medicine program, bringing Brazilian expertise to countries in Latin America and Africa. "Jennifer, this would be the ultimate recognition of your work," said Hannah. "But it would also mean a lot of time traveling away from the grandkids. Mom, the kids will grow up. This might be your last chance to make a global impact." Jennifer spoke with the whole family. Brian, now 68, was willing to accompany her on trips. Ethan fully supported the project. Barbara, even at 83, encouraged Jennifer to accept. "My dear, you always knew your mission was bigger than our small community. It's time to think global." The grandchildren, though young, also shared their thoughts. "Grandma, you can help kids all over the world," Peter said excitedly. "But you'll come back often, right?" Sophia asked, worried. "Always, my love. You're my anchor." Jennifer accepted the position, but with one condition. She'd stay no more than 2 years, so she wouldn't miss the grandchildren growing up. The 2 years coordinating the international program were intense and rewarding. Jennifer traveled to 12 countries, implementing community clinics based on the Brazilian model. Each country adapted the project to its cultural and economic reality. "Dr. Jennifer," said Mozambique's health minister during a visit, "the model you've brought is saving lives in our rural communities. The experience isn't just ours. You're creating something new tailored to your reality." During her travels, Jennifer kept in daily contact with the grandchildren through video calls. Peter, now 12, updated her on his studies. Sophia, 10, shared her school adventures. Richard, 8, always asked when she'd return. "Grandma, when you come back, I want to show you something," Peter said during one call. "What is it, sweetheart?" "A school project I'm doing on community medicine. My teacher said I can present it to the whole school." "That's amazing. What's the focus? How one person can change the world by starting small?" Jennifer was moved. "Peter, you've understood the heart of it all." When her 2-year term ended, Jennifer returned to the US with a sense of mission accomplished. The program was running in 15 countries, benefiting over 1 million people. "Mom, you did it!" Hannah said at the airport, with the 3 kids waiting for their grandma. "Grandma!" the children shouted in unison, running to hug her. "My darlings, how you've grown!" Peter, now 14, had shot up during her absence. Sophia, 12, was becoming a spirited preteen. Richard, 10, remained the most affectionate of the 3. "Grandma, now that you're back, can I tell you my news?" Sophia said mysteriously. "Of course, sweetie. What is it?" I've decided I want to be a doctor too, not a nurse, a doctor like you. Jennifer smiled. Sophia, you can be anything you want. Doctor, nurse, teacher. What matters is always caring for people. I know, but I want to be a doctor who works with technology, like Mom. Hannah laughed. Mom, get ready. Sophia has very specific plans. In the following months, Jennifer settled back into family life. She returned to her practice at the Oakwood Clinic and embraced her role as a hands-on grandmother again. The grandchildren had matured during her absence, but remained affectionate and close. Grandma, said Richard one day during a walk in the park, are you going to stop traveling now? Why do you ask? Because I missed you, and I want you to see me grow up. Jennifer knelt down to his level. Richard, I won't be away for so long anymore. I promise. And will you teach me to be a doctor like Peter? If that's what you want, yes, but you still have time to figure out what you love. I like taking care of people just like you. At 67, Jennifer decided to gradually reduce her professional commitments to dedicate more time to family and mentoring young doctors. She created a scholarship program in memory of Ms. Martha and her father, Richard. Jennifer, do you really want to slow down? Asked Barbara, now 85 and still sharp. I want to make the most of the years I have left with the people I love. I've done my part in the world. Your part in the world will never end. The seeds you planted will keep growing for generations. That's what I hope. During a family gathering to celebrate Samantha's 70th birthday, Jennifer gave a speech that summed up her life philosophy. Family, looking at all of you, I'm reminded of something Ms. Martha always said, family isn't just blood. It's a daily choice to love and care. You are my greatest treasure and my most important legacy. Ethan, now 50, and the general director of the entire network of community clinics, spoke for everyone. Aunt Carol, you taught us that a life well lived isn't measured by what we accumulate, but by what we give. Thank you for making all of us a real family. Samantha, the birthday girl, was moved. Jennifer, when I met you, I was just a businesswoman focused on profit. Today I dedicate half my time to social projects. You changed my life too. Peter, now 16 and preparing for medical school admissions, made sure to speak up. Grandma, I want you to know I chose medicine not because of family tradition, but because you showed me that caring for others is the most beautiful way to live. Sophia, at 14, agreed. Grandma, you proved that one person can change the world if they have courage and love in their heart. Richard, at 12, was the most direct. Grandma, I love you, and I want to be just like you when I grow up. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears. My darlings, you're already better than me. The new generation always goes further than the last. Hannah stood up to make the final toast. To Jennifer Wilson, who started by cleaning hallways and ended by cleaning the world of some of its pain, and most of all, to the woman who taught me that being a mother is the most important job there is. To family, everyone cheered in unison. That night, Jennifer fell asleep with a heart full of gratitude. Her journey had been long and full of obstacles, but also overflowing with love, purpose, and achievements she never imagined possible when she was just a young janitor with interrupted dreams. At 69, Jennifer received a call that moved her deeply. Peter had been accepted into medical school at the University of Rochester, the same school she had attended, as the top-ranked applicant. Grandma, I did it! I got first place! Peter shouted over the phone. My love, I'm so proud. You'll study where I studied. And I want to follow the same path as you, community medicine focused on social change. Peter, carve your own path. Use my experience as a foundation, but create your own way. Don't worry, Grandma. I have plans you can't even imagine. A year later, Sophia was also accepted into medical school, but chose a university in Chicago specializing in digital medicine and telemedicine. Grandma, I'm going to study how to use artificial intelligence to bring medicine to places it's never reached before. Sophia, that's the future of medicine. You're going to revolutionize what we started. Richard, now 14, was still deciding between medicine and biomedical engineering. Grandma, can I study engineering and work on creating medical equipment for the clinics? Of course, my love. Medicine needs all kinds of professions to work well. At 70, Jennifer decided to write her complete memoirs. The book, From Janitor to Future: A Life Dedicated to Care, became a national and international bestseller. "Mom, why did you decide to write your memoirs now?" asked Hannah. "Because I want the next generations to understand that social change is possible, but it takes courage, persistence, and a lot of love." The book was translated into 15 languages and became required reading in medical schools across several countries. Jennifer donated all royalties to the Community Medicine Scholarship Fund. During the book launch at the Oakwood Clinic, Jennifer gave an emotional speech. "This book isn't my story, it's our story. Everyone who believed medicine could be a force for change in the world. I dedicate it especially to the people who saved me when I needed it most. Ms. Martha, my father Richard, Ethan, Samantha, Barbara, and my wonderful family." In the audience were over 500 healthcare professionals influenced by her work. The most moving moment was when Ethan took the stage. "Aunt Carol, 35 years ago, you saved my life when I was a baby. Today, as a doctor, I've saved hundreds of lives. Every life I save is a reflection of your courage that day." Jennifer couldn't hold back her tears. "Ethan, you've become so much more than I could have imagined. I'm proud of you." 2 years later, Peter graduated from medical school with highest honors. His thesis was on Community Medicine 4.0, integrating humanistic tradition with technological innovation. "Grandma, I want to work at the Oakwood Clinic, but also implement technologies you can't even imagine." "Like what?" "AI diagnostics, interplanetary medical records. I want to take our medicine into the next century." Jennifer laughed. "Peter, you'll do things I can't even dream of, and that's wonderful." Sophia graduated a year later at 22, the youngest telemedicine specialist in the country. Her first project was a platform connecting experienced doctors with remote rural communities in real time. "Grandma, with this platform, a doctor in Chicago can guide a health worker in the Amazon basin during an emergency." "Sophia, this is exactly what we've always dreamed of, democratizing access to medical knowledge." Richard, at 18, chose biomedical engineering with a focus on creating low-cost medical equipment for community clinics. "Grandma, I want to make equipment any clinic can afford, no matter their budget." "Richard, you'll complete the work we started, humanized medicine with accessible technology." At 73, Jennifer was diagnosed with a heart condition requiring surgery. The news shook the whole family. "Mom, you'll have the best cardiologists in the country," said Hannah, worried. "Hannah, I don't want special treatment. I'll use the public system like anyone else." "But Mom," "No buts. If our healthcare system is good enough for our patients, it's good enough for me." The surgery was performed at Mercy General Hospital, where it had all begun. The medical team consisted of professionals trained in the humanized medicine program Jennifer had created. "Dr. Jennifer," said the surgeon before the operation, "it's an honor to care for the person who taught us the true meaning of being a doctor. Doctor, just treat me like any other patient. That's how it should be." The surgery was a success. During her recovery, Jennifer received thousands of heartfelt messages from healthcare professionals around the world. "Grandma, did you see how many people are rooting for you?" said Peter, showing her the messages on his phone. "I did, my love. It's so rewarding to know our work has touched so many lives. It's not just our work, Grandma. It's you. You're special." "Peter, none of us is special alone. We're special when we connect with others to do good." 6 months after the surgery, Jennifer was fully recovered and decided to take one last international trip. She wanted to visit all the community clinics she had helped establish around the world. "Mom, are you sure you're well enough to travel so much?" asked Hannah. "I am, and I want you all to come with me. This will be my official farewell from international work." The trip lasted 3 months and was deeply moving. In each country, Jennifer reunited with people whose lives had been transformed by the community clinics, doctors she had trained, patients who had been saved, families who had found hope. "Dr. Jennifer," said a young doctor in Senegal, "the clinic you helped build here saved my own daughter. Now I save other children every day." And the cycle continues, Jennifer replied, touched. At the final stop of the trip in Mozambique, Jennifer received a tribute that moved her deeply. The community had established a school of community medicine in her name. "Dr. Jennifer," said the school's director, "this institution will train doctors with the philosophy you taught us. Medicine is love in action. Thank you for the honor. I hope the students who graduate here become better doctors and better people than I ever was." "Impossible, Doctor. You've set the bar too high." On the flight back to Chicago, Jennifer reflected on her life with deep gratitude. "Brian, we built something beautiful together, didn't we?" "We did. And the most beautiful part is that it will keep growing even after we're gone. Our family will take care of it all, I'm sure." Back in Chicago, Jennifer decided to retire from professional work for good, dedicating herself fully to being a grandmother and informal mentor. "Grandma, are you really going to stop working?" asked Sophia, now the Director of Technological Innovation for the Clinic Network. "Yes, my love, it's time for you all to lead. I'll be here to give advice when you need it. What if I need advice every day? Then I'll be here for you every day." In the years that followed, Jennifer embraced her role as the family matriarch. Peter married a pediatrician he met during his residency. Sophia was dating a software engineer who developed medical apps. Richard was in his final year of biomedical engineering and had already invented 3 low-cost medical devices. "Grandma," Peter said during a Sunday lunch, "we have some news." "What news?" "Amy is pregnant. You're going to be a great-grandmother." Jennifer nearly fainted from emotion. "My goodness, a great-grandmother. I'll live to see the 5th generation of this family. And you'll help raise another doctor for the Newport family," joked Amy, Peter's wife. "Do you know the gender yet?" "Not yet, but if it's a boy, we want to name him Richard Ethan, after your father and Uncle Ethan. If it's a girl, Jennifer Martha." Jennifer cried with emotion. "My children, what an honor to have my name carried on in the family." "Grandma, you deserve so much more than that," said Sophia. "You deserve to be remembered in medical history forever." 9 months later, Jennifer Martha Wilson was born, the first great-granddaughter of Jennifer. The birth took place in the maternity ward of Mercy General Hospital, closing another chapter in the family's history. "Grandma, she looks just like you when you were a baby," said Peter, showing his daughter to Jennifer. "How do you know what I looked like as a baby?" "From the photo you keep with Grandpa Richard's things." Jennifer cradled her great-granddaughter in her arms, her hands trembling with emotion. "Jennifer Martha, you were born into a family that dedicates their lives to caring for others. I hope you find happiness, no matter what path you choose." Little Jennifer opened her tiny eyes and seemed to look straight at her great-grandmother. "Look, she already recognizes me," Jennifer whispered, moved. "Of course she does," said Hannah, also emotional. "She carries your soul, Mom." At 78 years old, Jennifer Wilson looked back on her life with deep satisfaction. From janitor to doctor, from victim of injustice to a symbol of social change, she had built a legacy that transcended any personal achievement. Sitting in the garden of her home, with her great-granddaughter in her arms, surrounded by children, grandchildren, and the family she had chosen throughout her life, Jennifer realized her greatest victory wasn't the clinics, the awards, or the international recognition. Her greatest victory was learning that a life well lived is one dedicated to love and care for others. And that love, when planted sincerely, blossoms in future generations that continue spreading kindness throughout the world. "Grandma," said Richard, now a graduate working on developing medical equipment for poor countries, "what would you most like your great-granddaughter to know about you?" Jennifer smiled, looking at little Jennifer sleeping peacefully in her arms. "That she can be anything she wants in life, but that she always remembers our greatest responsibility is to care for one another. And when we do that with love, we change the world one heart at a time." The whole family was moved by her answer. There lay the essence of Jennifer Wilson, a woman who had turned her own pain into healing for thousands, proving that one person, with courage and determination, can truly change the world. And so, as the sun set over the city of Chicago, 5 generations of the Newport family gathered around an extraordinary woman who had learned that true success in life isn't measured by what we achieve for ourselves, but by how much we lift others alongside us. Little Jennifer Martha, still unaware, held in her arms the future of a family devoted to caring for humanity. And Jennifer Wilson, the janitor who became a symbol of social transformation, went to sleep that night with the certainty that her mission on Earth had been fulfilled with love, dignity, and purpose. The legacy would continue. The love would continue. And the compassionate medicine she had planted would keep blooming in hearts willing to make a difference in the world. The end. What did you think of this story of perseverance and transformation? Jennifer taught us that it doesn't matter where we come from, but where we go when we have the courage to do what's right. Let us know in the comments which part moved you the most, and if you know someone who, like Jennifer, turned hardships into opportunities to help others. Your opinion means a lot to us.